at the Lakers and their prospects this season.
I wasn't scoffing.
Yes, you did. You did.
No, I wasn't.
You did. You laughed at them.
You were the one who had them being unsalvageable and all that about 3 weeks ago.
No. When they were installed as favorites about a week and a half ago.
I scoffed at that.
Okay.
I'm still scoffing at that.
That's what I'm saying.
So, look, Kawhi Leonard's also going to meet with other teams like the Clippers, and he's going to have the last team up. The last at bat will be the Toronto Raptors.
And that's fair.
Which seems very fair.
That's fair.
Doesn't it, Tony? I just think that at some point the Lakers have to have other people on their team. Mm-hmm. They can't go out there no matter how great the 3 or 4 people they have.
Yeah.
They can't go 3 against 10 or 11 with some really good teams like Denver could have, like later in the playoffs Toronto could have, depending on Kawhi. So I'm just saying, Tony, who's the one guy you're going to bring in now?
Okay.
Does it put Jimmy Butler in play? They want Kyrie again?
It puts Kyrie Irving in play.
Who's already in play?
He's in play now because going somewhere with Kevin Durant means you sit out for a year. Durant's not going to play for a year.
That's right.
Jimmy Butler is certainly in play, and Kawhi Leonard, I believe, is in play. And I'm going to go through this.
At all.
They have a 4th guy. They've got Kyle Kuzma. There are people that have won championships with LeBron James that are sitting around. Kyle Korver, J.R. Smith, Iman Shumpert, maybe Channing Frye, maybe Dwayne Wade. And maybe they're willing to play for no money at all to win another championship if there is a 3rd max free agent guy here. This is great for the league. This is Laker games starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time because everybody wants to watch them. This is great for Frank Vogel, who goes, whoa, look what I'm sitting on. This is great for Adam Silver because, Mike, these are the Lakers. This is an extraordinarily important franchise.
I get
this is great.
All of that. All I'm saying to you is, every decade or so you go, it gets harder for even the pillars of the league in any sport to win because other teams have really smart folks.
That's right.
They keep away from the Lakers and the Celtics.
That's right.
And they hire those people. And they go to places like Toronto and San Antonio and San Francisco/Oakland, and they can win there.
Yes.
So the Lakers are not going to just walk over anybody. I'm just saying to you, they traded 3 more serviceable guys.
Guys you never heard of.
It doesn't matter whether you heard of them. You hadn't heard of the Raptors people who helped win a championship either.
I knew those people.
No,
I'd watched them in college. I knew Larry. I knew Van Vliet. I knew those people. I think you're just in denial. I think you don't want the Lakers to be good.
They're going to be good.
If they get Kawhi Leonard, if they get Jimmy Butler, if they get Kyrie Irving, if they get these people, you can put serviceable people on here from the G League. Yeah, you get serviceable people from the G League. Do you remember the movie The Blues Brothers?
That was supposed to work last year.
You remember
because LeBron was there. It didn't work.
No, it didn't work at all because they had dysfunctional management last year and dysfunctional teammates. The whole mantra of the Blues Brothers was, we're getting a band back together again. Yeah. This is so good for the league. So good.
You're just happy because you've heard of the Lakers.
I have heard of the Lakers. I've watched them play. I've been there. I'll tell you this, that the Nets are second to the Knicks, even though the Knicks are a disaster, and the Clippers, and they won 48 last year.
Suppose they get Kawhi.
That's to
add to a 48-win team.
Big time deal, and if the Lakers count it with Kyrie Irving or Jimmy Butler, big time deal. We move now to the much anticipated quarterfinal game of the World Cup. The United States playing France in Paris tomorrow. Nobody thinks this game should be in a round of 8. The U.S. is the number 1 team. France is number 4. But given the huge stakes here, Wilbon, would it be a failure if the United States lost?
No. I don't even favor the U.S. team. I don't care what Vegas says.
I do.
I know you're going to do that. Mm-hmm. It's not a surprise you're going to do that either. But France is the number 4 team. Not the number 14 team, not the number 24 team. They're 4, top 4, final 4.
That's right.
Playing at home. I'm sorry, France, which has beaten the United States in 2 recent important competitions, France ought to be favored. And if I am in any way involved with the French side, I'm going to be favoring France to win this game.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to favor the United States for this reason. They are the number 1 team. I understand it's on the road. I understand that. They're the number 1 team in the world. They have won this before. They've won this, I think, 3 times. They've won the Olympics 4 times. So people on that team have a legacy of understanding what it's like to play in important games, not necessarily in your own place. So they know how to do that. I want to get to the word failure, though, because like you, I would not use the word failure. Now, if they lost 4-0, I might. But if France, for example, wins and then goes on to win the entire tournament, then you'd say to yourself, oh, okay, they're a better team and it's not a failure. The word I would use is delight. I believe the rest of the world would be delighted if the United States lost to France.
That's always
because of the way they ran their yaps.
Well, that's
because of the way they had celebrations. They have made themselves into the New England Patriots, and people like to see them lose.
People are always delighted when teams from the United States lose.
Do you think that? You think
the only time
really?
I didn't see that happen? I've covered 10 Olympics, and you've covered nearly that many.
Men's soccer, they'd expect them to lose. They don't.
The only time that didn't happen was with the Dream Team. And people might have started out thinking I'd like them to get theirs.
No, they were like,
oh, no. We love these people.
That's right.
That's the only time I've seen that. People want the U.S. to lose. It's part of the charm. It's part of being the United States and going in and kicking somebody's butt.
So you don't think that this particular team put a larger target on its back? Because we agreed that they did last week.
People already disliked them. It's okay. They can dislike you. That's right. Question is, what does Vegas say, by the way? You consult with Vegas.
I have no idea. No, you know what? Actually, I don't have a hotline to Vegas.
Oh, I thought you did.
Or Uncle Sal.
You and Mo Siegel used to have that.
Mo Siegel. Now you're going back 45 years. Go ahead.
Tony, let's go to the only thing more hyped than this soccer game, and that would be Zion, who is now his own news industry. Ennis Kanter got himself in trouble yesterday by telling Colin Cowherd that he thinks Zion is, quote, overhyped, and that a good comparison would be Julius Randle with hops. Actually, that sounds reasonable or even better to me. Does it to you?
I watched it. It was the way he said it quite dismissively. It was an insult to Julius Kanter. It was an insult to Zion. Julius Randle, who came back and tweeted this.
This is funny.
This is great. To Kanter, quote, "Last time you guarded me, I had 45. Relax, bro."
Now, wait, hold on for a second. That is a funny line.
Yeah.
At this point, having been reporters once in our lives, I'm betting at that very point, you went and looked up what Julius Randle averaged last year. You want to tell the people that?
21-9. He's a good player. He was in New Orleans.
21-9.
No, he's a good player. And I'm not sure that Zion Williamson's going to average 21-9 in his freshman year.
That's right.
Or rookie year, whatever. But my sense of this is that who died and made Kanter an expert on these things? Who exactly did that?
I'm going to take up for Ennis Kanter now. Because everybody wants somebody to come on their podcast radio show and be candid and forthcoming and insightful. And Kanter is a great talker. Yeah. Even as the biggest bullseye in any sport seems to be on his back, he comes on, he talks with you, he stands at a game, he talks with you. And this analogy, there's a reason people think Julius Randle is no longer necessary on New Orleans. Because Zion is like Julius Randle plus expectations and royalty.
While you're praising...
I'm praising Kanter.
Now, while you do that,
yes.
Can I interest you in something he said within 30 seconds in that interview?
What?
Within 30 seconds, after I believe he was dismissive.
We're only assessing that.
Okay. He said this, quote, "If Zion develops a shot, he'll be a Hall of Famer."
Yes.
So in 30 seconds, he went from saying a guy was to if he can shoot, he's a Hall of Famer.
One more time, wouldn't you, if you're New Orleans, if you're
Take 21-9. Take it. Take it. Absolutely take it.
So it sounds like Kanter's right to me.
It was the way he said it. It was the context of it. Don't you think?
No, I thought he was all right. I did. I thought he was all right.
Yes, you're in the tank for him.
I am. I like him.
Okay, there you go.
Tony, we're venturing into a new area today on PTI.
What?
We are going to videotape comparisons of soccer goals. Aren't you excited?
I am.
The scorer in question is Wayne Rooney of your DC United. The first goal came a few months ago, and you can see him go straight Uncle Charlie on this right-footed kick from an impossible angle inside the far post. The second one, which was last night right here in your neighborhood, where Rooney suckers the Orlando keeper, the same goof who gave up the first goal, on this shot from nearly 70 yards. And with that, Tony, we will now break it down. Which goal was better?
Let me get to one thing first. My DC United.
Yeah.
What is your mailing address?
Bethesda, Maryland.
Is that what's 3 miles?
Bethesda soccer team.
It's 3 miles from the stadium.
Okay.
Stop it. Okay. All right. So it's which is better is an interesting question. They're both great. These are both great goals.
They're great goals.
If I have to choose which is better, because as you say, there's no angle at all. There's on the kick from last year, there's a baby draw that goes in there, okay, whatever it is, and it hits the post. It's absolutely perfect. It's absolutely perfect. But last night, what he did is such an embarrassment to this goalie.
It's humiliating.
He gets him out of position, and he burns him. And he is asked after the game about that, and apparently he says, "I work on that. I've seen this goalie before. I know that you can get him in a position where he's not close enough." And he kicks it from, I don't know, a mile and a half away. And in the sense of the first one is more spectacular This one seems more meaningful and
The first one you
meaner.
can see all the time if a guy has a 5-iron in his hand.
That's right.
Because the curvature of the ball there, and by the way, we're all the dopes that say, a ball doesn't curve. These people are idiots. They're flat earth people as well. But Tony, it's the first goal. The first goal's better because of the angle.
Who said the ball doesn't curve? Doesn't
there are people
bend it
who
like
think
Beckham.
And people say, oh, you can't
Can I
bend
just say this about Rooney? A lot of these guys come over here from Europe
They're washed up.
and they stink.
Yeah.
Here's Rooney, who's trying hard. He's got 21 goals in 34 starts. He's got 12 assists, so that's a point a game. That's good. That's better than Enes Kanter. That's better.
Real quickly. Is he better than Johan Cruyff?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. But his hair is good lately. Let's take a break. Coming up, Julie Foudy joins us from Paris to break down tomorrow's big World Cup game.
Didn't Cruyff smoke on the bench?
Yes.
He had cigs.
Yeah, well, so did Canalia.
Later, Tony predicts the starting lineup for the MLB All-Star Game. Both leagues, position by position. Yeah.
I'm going to predict Trout. I'm just going to say Trout's going to start.
Even if Trout didn't make the cut yesterday.
Don't
We had
understand
to add him
that.
as a write-in on the ESPY show.
Don't understand France tomorrow in the World Cup. And we are pleased to welcome back PTI's Paris Bureau Chief, ESPN's soccer analyst, Julie Foudy. Let's start with this. You played in these sorts of things. You played overseas. You played in a lot of places. Is home field really that big a deal?
It really is that big a deal. But it also can be a double-edged sword. When we were hosting in '99, for example, that Women's World Cup, you have all this energy of the crowd in the stadium, and it's so energetic in terms of how it just lifts you as a team. But it's also the pressure. And if France on Friday stops doing well, or it's late in the game and they're down a goal, or it's tied, you never know. It could be a double-edged sword. They could crumble under that pressure, and that's what the United States is hoping.
Ooh, crumble. That would be interesting. But we don't necessarily think they'll crumble, Julie, right? Because France is pretty good. Why is the French side so good?
Oh, gosh, Michael, they are so good because they're good all over the field. And in the past, French teams have been good with maybe 5, 6 players, and now you're seeing across all 3 lines, forwards, midfields, defenders, strong on all 3 lines. They're fast, they're technical, they're good finishers. They haven't played, I don't think, to their potential yet. And here's the one thing people don't talk about a lot. The one thing United States players always have is usually countries fear them. And France has had the U.S. basically in its back pocket these last 2 years. They beat them in 2017. They beat the United States 3-0, and they beat them just in January 3-1. And it could have been more like 5-1. So for the first time, the U.S. is coming into a game where a country doesn't actually fear them. And I think that's obviously going to play mentally in France's favor.
Did you actually use the phrase "the French side"?
I'm in the spirit of the event.
Did you go
I'm in the
soccer
spirit
geek
of the
on
moment.
me here?
You better get there.
Unbelievable.
Darn it.
Julie, is there any concern that the United States could not score against Spain in the course of play, only on penalty kicks? Is this something to be wary of?
Yes, Tony, there is some concern because Spain played the U.S. so well. And Megan Rapinoe, to her own admission, said, I didn't have a great game. Alex Morgan was quiet. Tobin Heath was quiet. We started the tournament saying, if this U.S. team is going to win this World Cup, unlike in 2015 when they did it on the backs of their defenders, it's going to have to happen this time around on the backs of their forwards. And these are the moments, quarterfinals in Paris against France, where a player like Alex Morgan, although she had 5 games, it was against 5 goals, sorry, it was against Thailand. This is a legacy game for her, I think. She's got to show in the big moment, she's going to step up and have a great game.
Let's go to goalkeeping for a second, because the last time we talked to you last week, we talked about concerns about U.S. goalkeeping. Have those fears, Julie, been allayed?
Well, everyone saw the Alyssa Nair mistake, and she talks about it after the game against Spain, where she plays that short ball into Becky Sauerbrunn, who gets her pocket picked, and Spain comes back and equalizes soon after the U.S. had scored. And she says, look, and I agree with her. Those are gifts, in a sense, when you live through them and you live for another day, for another game, because what it taught you is, hey, I can make a mistake like that. You never want to see it happen with a goalkeeper in particular, but I can live after it. And so I think it actually could be a blessing in disguise. And it's a good little reminder for that team with how good that Spain game was, a good little reminder that, okay, yes, we had some success in the group stage, but this is clearly a different level, and they know France will be a different level. But to your point, it has not eased my concerns with the goalkeeping position.
Julie, I want to broaden this out for a second and just ask you about the atmosphere there and about the event there. What does it feel like? You've been in a lot of these as a player yourself. I mean, is it a crusade to beat the U.S. in this particular round? What does it feel like?
Yeah, it is. And, you know, the thing with the U.S. is we travel with so many fans. And every game has felt like a home game for the United States. And in Reims and in Le Havre, which is where their last game was. Even in Paris, they had 20,000 strong. They've been taking over stadiums. So this will be the first time that, obviously, I think in Paris, and they're playing the host country, it's going to be a pro-France crowd, and that's going to play a part. And the country here is so excited about their team. Their numbers, they're getting 10 million watching their first game. They've been drawing more fans than they ever have, of course, for their team. So they're entirely enthusiastic about knocking off the defending World Cup champions, as everyone always is.
All right, so we'll get you out of here on this. Given the fact that it is in Paris, given the fact that your apprehensions about the goalie have not necessarily been allayed, given all of that stuff, which way are you leaning in this particular game?
Come on, boys. Come on, Tony. It's the United States of America.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Having said all that, they're still going to win.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I love about this group, honestly, is this is a team, and you can hear it when they talk. They live for these moments. You have veterans on this team, and Megan Rapinoe and Tobin Heath and Alex Morgan. I mean, you go down the list, Ali Krieger, and these players are saying, oh my gosh, this is the moment you dream about. You want the host in the quarterfinal game against France in Paris on a Friday night. And so I love that they're willing to embrace that pressure, and I think they're going to do well under that pressure. So I'm taking the United States of America. It's official.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Julie.
Julie.
Thank
Much
you.
appreciated.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Let's take one last break, but still to come, Dodgers catcher Russell Martin pitches his second 1-2-3 inning. Is he for real?
And how worried should the Yanks be about Giancarlo Stanton's latest trip to the injured list?
You know what?
What?
They hit 1 million home runs without him. They do.
They do.
Yeah.